Paul Yandoh Ashanti Regional Communications Director ma Osugo Koko Amanyoko MPB. Eja Paul be ma me mo che.
Bakwa me mususu bru.
Na bako de.
Oh, na mi adom dia boko na moto e.
Yes, you bako na me se opposition MPP ko ade baka se onko an e bo ma wo. Awreho da bia di awreho.
Bakwa me na se kwa de na me nti won kan to ko ba bi kakra wa ho.
Ah me ko abrochire kakra bi.
Hey, eni e wuti ye.
Abrochire suo bai. Bibi ani. Oh.
Na se ni o ko dojo ho kakra de ni na ye di atimu a de nya sam pitwa. Nya sam pitwa. Se ma un tumi amani a wo hu de. O de o tumi ko abrochire bo ni ya de ni passport wo.
Yay.
Ya ti to go kura o tumi nko. Ana yete the pictures nyina ni bia kototo all border town.
Ah, sanity e.
Ah, yete the pictures akototo. Odno a 2 weeks bia won for police CID in Kochi ni bi. We are on for book no ko register hon ko kire no. Odno a ko ya 3 days bia o se report e wo yoko. Otiwe ya fizi na account nyina your TV is excavated. The pick up your TV. The mobile money improve. Aquame. That's why they miss me sending a crack of man. I pay them sending them or don't be sending movie. If you are feeding the mobile money in a so. If you are chairman, you are 2 ways. I can't entire and I am free here.
Na tiri gaba sana ba no nyes kama no.
Ya tene bia.
Oh.
Bani kinaya mirin mu yem yenu sino o tin ko be bia ti o tno mo wa ombe hu ni mo bo
Enti o
ma dani mu ama
dani mu ama no obo ha no obo ha na asem no ankasa e wo court no asem be ana ye nsem ben pa
ensem ni de ba kwa me wadaroma enye asem bia nyemom ye peuna ukotomu a nese akoba nta wa wani ti ase ewiasi mu ewe bia ni meduma a woye yama wuntumi yo bia otu efoma gudi a enimu no fiti tete eduma a waye a in fact asa no bedi chairman akwa no eduma a woye na between 2014 2015 ho the same nyema ya yede ne famu tete no yes ni excavated by 500 ni pick up tete who judgment debt nyina da ho just na juma wo ya no enti eba ye na wo mo ekotire no a wo mo ede no ekogina CID ho na wo mo bo ne kwadu but ansani eba betire no minister ni be ye press conference say Yimano ama Kufibua oye land and natural resource minister obe ye press conference say Jacob baby na yesusu say chema untimi concession so na yako illegal miners for enti the pickup any excavator ya TV afa ya sa ribo chema untimi license enti okay say ribo kini license no ene court wa ye de ne ko ye akwame ye de ne ko ye ye ka say mining without license say nyina bata say na den na minister say ribo kini license na court say wa mining without license. They say license is being minister ka say ya revoke no. E won't be driver's license. And I say dear license the mama koye court on sensem no na e wo say ehwema ye koyi ya no e wo. Nti what so say dey na court no ye the bail condition 50 million to no so ojina court no a what 50 million no want them na police for asa be no asa ko jina another court or sa ko jina another court and so 10 million bail condition it won't to me jina ho nipa ba ko foi police for mienu na ache no a ombi na ko jina court ba ko 15 million ba ko 10 million jame yi adoma yitimi eye a yitimi ebeli won't obi what 3 days what no beli no Friday, Monday, Tuesday, through Friday, and Sana, yetime amity bail condition, what I say. And they say, one more day, a quarter 28 year, a year, Endra, the Omra Court, na afei no yentimi enye na de akoba ya rapa me nyina ye di hu adanse se ade ade ya Wontumi ahomse afidie saipa u in fact rapa me se ukọ asori pa na sofo ekase ye mmompa ye entia abayama ni abrakwa me yire ho pa na pompa ye dise abama ni a ekọ si wo Wontumi abrabo mu no e ade a ahomse sempa
na mami mu say enu ada wo kopie mu court afei de be pie mu say yate say yesi bench warrant ye mfa nkọche no na tie mu na yesi time yesi court no sete no wanu wo sa time no akire na onkopa court no chew ma court no yi sa bench warrant no efiri ti so sa asem no na de be issue pa no
akwa mi ansem ni nyina ne say yenim say 28 eye Andre and obeko court abra abo non-do and at 10 o'clock a.m. and obeko court sana ni lawyer akase not knowing say na court no so at 9 a.m. 8 a.m. is communication and at Wontumi so the unimu wo court 7:30 ni wodu ho and what ni come or train the lawyer by 10 there's omowura court dining and say upon na ya judge ne trust ya of case na the lawyer may do yes go nim say 10 and Wontumi do so nim say 10 but no mo court premises wa na we nu a ntino the see issue bench warrant say the kwa akote no manaba court na wa ma nti time differences and a man no eba amita and communication if we tell my lawyer who man 10 a.m. court no so na 9 a.m. and I will be transfer and then the man they cover amita and koye bujuja na na adiem kwa e was attorney general no and they service Wontumi on 20th of October asa na nkai and 28 na ba no ade a wo se nkode service Wontumi no mo hwe mu yesi nwa adi no hwe eze mu asa na o court and no attorney general na fanko o ti ase wan fanko
bia no onwie
o se
bia no onwie
san ye nyina ya she date ye she date 28 unwie bia banko o ti document ni bibia na ye di bo Wontumi bia no e 2022 atem na woka it is 2022 atem de ye wie da ho da o ti ase ye wie da ho da o di ane say o ma process na go through and so sai o to di say no wa fa say ni nyina no abayama ne ni bia na den
anya wori mama na wase na ye se nyampa ti mo ko court da bay
I say 4th November na 4th November no bra kwa me dia ahomti wo mu say sana court mienu ni nyina ya 4th November o eti edi na asem we ya ni asa koti wa ha bi ni baba akufu 4th November minim ta temu ni ebebu nu dia
na mami musa Ghana we de yesusu ye jahim ana ye jasere ya kwefo ko we cap o
hey bra kwa me asewe nu akofa bay
ada asembe de wo mu
Nasa World Cup ya kobita Brazil ya kwa wi kube wo Brazil ya wodi ya wo ba ye suwa wo suwa kube wi ya o ja se suwa wo be su ye ene ka ya de Ghana eja ho ne dis gagu play mu akoma players $3 million
yes akwa momwo
o je de ya kano na afere de ya si ye ko US o te Canada Bakwame, a car one with the bed brain, also US one a pizza, shawarma, burger near the day, McDonald's, KFC, the headquarters, you. If you want for Libyan Casa, Kubekra, you see, not a beer, burger near the day. It means just away the president, a canaba, Omina, Kobe, Nadaruma. Na adem ye ban say dia na nyina afia Wontumi
na obi agwa afro
esu kresa
Debi obasa minister no owura Kofi Adams ono wonhwe masa ne ma ne nkoso
obi anu abra kwa me no obehwe ma na ba se ba dia dia de wo wi kubekura esu na the okori burger ne shawarma ne pizza ne nua no makeke ka ho enti ba ko mu da mu fama no ntumu bi ma ye nie na ye nkobi
se ndie e ka nya aba ade na furo
abatete abunde abode ye na ye nkobi nie nkobi ni amra because burger ne we ko mu tie ba kwa be ye siri nya ma mu nko we maka
abuziafo enti mame mo bibia akwaba enfambra negative en platform we eso Paul Yandoh and out in Kano or Ashanti Regional MPP Director, Communications Director. Now, Uti Sema Paul Yandoh Eka Usuro se Ancha on the 4th of November. Omo Edichema Wontumi Bekwa Kupim Ewo Court. Now, Modine Kwa Yana BBS already no Prophet Roger Adin Simbi Abamontin so I need the P and the C. Montin so Chema Wontumi. He is going to prison straight 15 years jail abusia and some dia ade ma Wontumi sambra me no kase na yebefiri so ne yakọ akwakutie Richard Ahiagbah MPP Communications Director right Richard Ahiagbah on one NDC communicator bi akohia ewo Metro TV na ohwe hawa in fact osi disgrace na MPP for the entro any nada kwa no mayo madwe se on beji Ghana aboso but emfa yenti sanse ni bia ko bai betos.
So it took my MD one day who called it's Ahiagbah.
Yes, Ahiagbah.
Yeah, and I said yes sir.
Yeah.
I said Ahiagbah. You know, a lot of our media folks are actually making the mistake of calling Ahiagbah.
It's okay.
What does it mean?
It's a burden of love. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you know,
burden of love.
The burden of love you carry. Yeah. But you see, I've heard various renditions
and
of
shows with your association of the new patriotic.
Oh.
Oh, but they have been grossly unfair to his likes in the last 8 years, despite the love that he has shown, the love and affection he has shown the party. But that was the truth. That was the truth. Names actually have been also. It's a very difficult situation.
It's on steroids. You know, but on your
see what they show.
No,
you finish it right now. What do you want to say? Anyway, Richard, listen.
You know, I've heard various renditions of it having been outside, and in any way anybody calls me, I respond.
Okay.
So I don't get into the whole thing of
correcting people
because I've heard very complete.
What's the worst? What's the worst you ever heard?
Oh, outside this country,
Yeah,
I've heard Anyama.
What's Anyama?
And many different versions.
It doesn't bother you, does it?
No.
It doesn't bother you.
I know it's tough to pronounce if you are not in the,
Okay.
you know, a native speaker.
Right.
It's difficult. So I don't get into that.
Okay.
But so Moro, I think that largely I don't disagree too much with Hamza. He's shown some very critical communication when he's calling on the minister to, get into the weeds and get stuff done. And then he's talked also a little bit about the president's commitment, which I think that is not in question, but wishes are not horses. The idea is that, yes, you wish for ABCD to happen, you must see to it that it happens. And that's where the rubber hits the road. And that's where the challenge is right now. The Fit Ghana, I'm the first person to say it's a good idea, building on the PFJ Phase 2, even though Hamza says that it is their creation. But I don't think that they created Plenty for Food and Jobs. So we put in Plenty for Food and Jobs, which has actually helped the agri sector grow. Moro, in 2017, when we took over from the NDC, I think the agri sector grew just about 2.7. At the close of 2017, as the 2018 reports, it's about 8.4% agri sector grew by, and under us, agri sector continued to grow. nothing compared to what they reported. I think in 2014 or so, the Greek sector dropped all the way to 0.9%. So we've done better with our Greek. The Akufo-Addo MPP government has done much, much better with our Greek. If today you are comparing the former president's first term with our period in government, we have done exceedingly better with our Greek. So that record must reflect. Now, the challenge with the implementation of the program, and I again commend Hamza on making a call on the government and the honest admission that this year is a year of austerity, which it shouldn't have to be. We should be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. The mandate of the president does not have any grace period within which you don't do anything, right? You come in, your mandate starts from the 7th and it runs through till the 7th of the 7th of January after election. So in this case, 7th January 2029. So my thinking is that the president ought to hit the road running from the 7th of January. So this whole excuse that, okay, well, this year we're trying to deal with some economic mess, which is make-believe economic mess, okay? The idea is, it is clear without a doubt that before we left office, this economy was recovering. The economy started recovering strongly from 2023. The IMF has attested to that. The World Bank has attested to that. There's ample documentation to that effect. So the economy was on a path of recovery. So they inherited a recovering economy. In fact, strong in 2024 growth of 5.7%. Okay, even though they are projected to grow 4%, which is a difficulty that I see from inheriting such a high growth level. But they didn't inherit an economy in shambles. No, at all. Yes, when a difficult situation in 2022, we hit a certain rough ride, but then we have managed the economy, okay, to where it is recovering. Now, if there is any relief for the Ghanaian, if there is any improvement such that it is reflecting in the lives of Ghanaians, it was just a matter of time that we got to that point. And so they are on a path to advance what they inherited. If they are facing challenges of doing so expeditiously, then they should say it. That the rate at which they ought to grow the economy is not growing that way, and that's the difficulty they are facing. That's a point to be made, but that is not a function of the previous government. It's not because they inherited an economy that is stagnant. No, they inherited a growing economy, which grew by the time they took off at 5.7. That is not a mean economy. That is not an economy in stagnation at all by anybody's measure. Okay, by the worst enemy of the MPP, if you measure that and say our performance is 5.7, it is creditable. That is, we are expecting to see them to grow at that 5.7%, but they are projected 4% or so. So the economy is not in shambles as they purport to make the point. But I agree that we've gone through some rough patches. Those difficulties we have addressed, and I think I agree with the president recently when he mentioned about the DDEP. I have my own concerns about it, and I've said it that, you know, as a party that and her belief system, that's not a policy that ought to be implemented under us. But it was a difficult situation. There was no option. There was nowhere to turn to but to own and deal with the problem. And so I wasn't surprised when the president made that. It was an honest admission reflecting the kind of difficulty he went through as a president to supervise that implementation of DDEP. So the economy is at a place where the NDC, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, could have implemented his flagship program, the Feed Ghana program, to make sure that Ghanaians in the real sector, Moro, one of the drive that brought the NDC to office is the idea of creating jobs. Okay, now it is dead. The idea of 24-hour economy is completely comatose. There's nothing happening on that front. Now it's a big document. You read it, you don't know. By the time you finish the introduction, you forgot what really they're about to do. Quite different from what they told us, very expressly, as though that when they walk into office, the following day there's a switch that they're going to flip on, and there'll be jobs that people can do, 3 people at a time, right? They will have 1, 3, 3, 3 was the formula. Okay, if that's a lotto number, you can play it all you want. You're not going to win anything because it's not materializing in any way, shape, or form, right? So that is their problem. The economy was good. The FGP, which is the Feed Ghana program, that program, if properly implemented, would create jobs, would help us create jobs for our young people. But it hasn't been implemented. Now we're hearing the excuse, which we know that it is because they are practicing some austerity, which is something that is beyond me. When you make a thing your flagship, you know, I go for those flagship, the free SHS. It was implemented the same year. September, we had it on the road. So Feed Ghana program is President Mahamad's flagship program, but nothing, not a single disbursement. But before I go, you know, the Farmer Service Center, that idea is novel. I like it. It's a fantastic idea. But nothing whatsoever has been done about it. And it is in that aspect of the Feed Ghana that has the market linkage component, and it has also credit component in that, but nothing whatsoever has been done about that sector. So that's part of the problem, especially to do with the matter that we're discussing in terms of the glut, that is that farmers are looking for market and they can't find. That component is supposed to deal with it. So if we are hearing that cabinet has approved some money for buffer stock to do it, I think that they need to act speedily and make sure that that is done. But again, just a plea to the president, it will be a feather in his cap if we are able to exercise the political will to engage the import cartel of rice, to say that now we have our own capacity and our determination, our goal is to feed Ghana, eat Ghana, and then secure the future. Then we must have the courage to curtail the import, because now we can produce at home. And what is a point that we must note, and part of the promotion tomorrow, is that the local rice is more nutritious, is better, is better for your health than the imports, which is polished and treated in many different ways. So that aspect, I think that I'll be a champion in the president's corner to say that let's curtail the import of rice. Those who are invested in that sector, who are perhaps lobbying and pushing the envelope not to have this happen, they can repurpose their investment and promote the local sector, the local rice sector, so that we can save ourselves the forex and ensure the stability of our city, and then boost domestic production, job creation as a result, and stabilize the city. I think that that's something we need to do for ourselves. But as for the NDC claiming the economy is their problem, I tell you, it is not. They didn't inherit a bad economy at all. They needed to build on it. If they are slow building it, that one is their cup of tea. They can't blame the opposition for that at all.
How's that? I think that there's one fundamental thing that we need to set out, especially when it comes to the politics of the New Patriotic Party. It is the fact that they are averse to principle politics, and politics rooted in sincerity and honesty to the good people of the Republic of Ghana. And that is one fundamental difference between the National Democratic Congress and that of the NPP. For the NPP, what they are experts in is how to simply abuse your arguments, misinterpret your motives, and deride your sincerity. And so they are quick at turning criticisms of all legitimate criticisms of Ghanaians into accusations. That is what they have mastery over. But when it comes to governance, they are simply lacking. And I'll demonstrate why. Moro, on this table, I upheld the principle of sincerity in politics and honesty when dealing with the Ghanaian people. Nowhere have I suggested that because of the economic mess that they left behind, this government has been quite unable to release funds to many of these sectors, including the buffer stock company, to buy produce. I have made references to the fact that even in the midst of the economic downturn and mess that we have inherited and our commitment to clean that mess, releases have been made. But as a government that underscores the importance of sincerity and honesty in political discourse, I was quick to add that undoubtedly it still doesn't match up to the needed investments in the agriculture sector. That is a hallmark of honesty. That is how you are being sincere and honest to the Ghanaian people. But not for their politics. My brother was quick to assume or to proceed on the induced assumption that government, because of economic challenges, has not made any advances in these sectors. That is not true. Not long ago, you heard even His Excellency President Mahama, in line with the objectives of the Feed Ghana project, direct senior high schools in Ashanti region to buy even tomatoes from local farmers. Moro, didn't you hear that? He directed us a presidential directive, not even a directive from the minister responsible for education or agriculture. That is the president who still has a handle on the entire policy rationale behind the Feed Ghana project and is committed to its implementation. Our references to the fact that there is the need for us to clean the mess is not an indication is not an indication that, look, this is a government that is interested in fishing out excuses. Absolutely not. It is rather rooted in sincerity, because we acknowledge that so much investment needs to be done in the agriculture sector. But because of the mess that you left behind, it is making it practically impossible for the agriculture sector to get all the needed investments in a single year. In this year alone. And why are we creating the impression, if not the NPP, that the manifesto that we presented to the good people of this country was a manifesto meant to be implemented in 1 year? Is that my brother's understanding of the social contract political parties sign with the good people of this country using their manifestos? Absolutely unacceptable. Another hallmark of their tradition. Cheap and deceptive politicking. And that is the reason why we need to let the NPP understand that, look, if they are interested in partnership, the NDC is open and the Ghanaian people are open. But if they are simply interested in scoring cheap political goals, this is not the time for them. Okay. Because their record is not hidden. And Moro, he made references to the fact that, look, they handed over to us a very thriving economy. Quite clearly, Richard possibly was living under a different planet. Because I was even surprised he had to make reference to their domestic debt exchange program. This is a government that left us in excess of 121 billion Ghana cedis in debt. 721 in debt. This government. We are talking about a government that virtually succeeded in the last 8 years of running down state institutions, including a crucial national institution like the Electricity Company of Ghana, and got us into debt of I think about 68 billion Ghana cedis that we are still dealing with. Not to talk of the debt they left behind at Road Fund and Cocoa Board. That is your legacy. This is not lost on any Ghanaian. What you were masters in were clearly how to extort monies using these state institutions and questionable policy interventions under the guise of contributing meaningfully to national development. That is the record that you left behind. And so for us, we would not be swayed by your politics of deception intended to misinterpret our honesty and abuse our arguments, especially when it comes to being truthful to the good people of this country. And that is the reason why I will still not shy away from indicating that, look, the steps that needs to be taken the minister responsible for agriculture and His Excellency President Mahama, I'm convinced, will take those steps. But spare us this early morning sermon, Richard, okay, because your record is there of all the beautiful things you spoke about.
Okay.
About what you did with the Planting for Food program. What benefits? Even under you, there are still questions for your agriculture minister, and you people throw jargons at each other in this your current presidential contest. Many of your flag bearer aspirants are now those who have become official spokespersons for the good people of this country in terms of the economic record you left behind. When it comes to the agriculture sector, indeed, those of you supporting Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia have had cause to tell Brian Achampong to shut up because of the mess he left behind as far as the agriculture sector is concerned. Okay. So this is your record.
Okay.
We have in place a government that has shown commitment, that has indicated its willingness to clear that mess. And my brother also referenced the fact that the majority leader indicated that the presidency had directed the minister responsible for finance to make some allocations to the National Buffer Stock Company to procure many of these items. Others have raised questions as to whether indeed these quantities of grains are actually available in warehouses. Right. These are all legitimate concerns. And so if indeed you are concerned about the agriculture sector, these are facts we need to verify in terms of the quantities that they have available.
All right.
And we would engage in that holistic discussion as to how to take advantage of it. And that is why I called on the agriculture minister to go out there and ascertain the veracity of these claims and present a report to His Excellency the President, and be rest assured, like he directed. Okay. President Mahama will once again direct an important solution to that particular challenge that the farmers are making references to. But until that is done,
let's move on.
Yes, but until that is done, until we move on, let me place this on record that we are advocating for a government that will not take the good people of this country for granted. We will not deceive them that many of the promises we made in opposition, we will implement in a single year.
All right.
We know that we have a 4-year mandate.
Okay.
And our steps will be guided.
All right.
We would ensure that by the end of that 4-year mandate, we would have a story to tell the Ghanaian people.
Okay.
Indeed, they themselves would be advocates of that legacy. Right. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC will leave behind. And that is our focus.
All right.
We will not be distracted by the petty politics of the New Patriotic Party and its associates.
Thank you.
But just
and then I will come back again. No, of course. I will have to come back.
It's nothing. No. I mean, what we are talking about.
Once you talk, you know, brother.
No, we talk about. The point is very simple. Easy. Hamza,
Richard, I'll come back.
Yeah, it's okay. Hamza is a nice guy.
What is this? 3 hours? There are many other issues to talk about.
But it's important. For what we eat, watermelon, what we eat is proper that we talk about.
I know,
it.
We can't spend all day. Come on.
You see, Hamza is a nice guy. He's doing his best, and I will support him any day. But the thing is that he's defending a very difficult position.
Okay.
Really. You see, the record of the NDC...
You are going to allow him to...
No.
I will be entitled to my rights.
No problem. He's a lawyer, so he's hard.
Take the whole day.
No, that's okay. But it's working.
Let me watch you.
I'm coming. Here's a small point. You see, so the point is that on the record of the economy, Moro, I admit that we hit a rough patch.
Right.
In our post-COVID 2020, 2020.
It is not even accurate. It's not post-COVID. And I'll demonstrate why it is not post-COVID.
No problem. That's fine. You see, before we hit that rough patch, Moro, we're all in this country.
Okay.
The economy we inherited from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was an economy that grew 3.6. He inherited that economy in 2013 about 7.3 or so percent GDP, okay, declined all the way, okay, to 3.6 or 3.4, depending on what series you're looking at, but actually 3.4 if you look at the expanded, then maybe 3.6.
Okay.
Moro, that economy we inherited from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama grew on average 7% in 2017, 2018, 2019. Before COVID, 20.5%.
Okay, so a consistent growth of 7%. He was able to do 3.6%. Having inherited the economy from 7.3%, okay, the capacity of our economy shrank under him. So when we're talking economic management, and now it's as if everybody in Ghana, we have extinguished the history of Akufo-Addo's performance, and we are looking at something before us, which is actually not even inspiring, because their first year projection is actually lower than what they inherited. So we took an economy at 3.6, left it for them at 5.7, 6%. Okay? When he took at 7 and left at 3.4, are you comparing that to tell me that they have done a better job? No. So Hamza, the record is clear. When you come to that Greek sector, which we are discussing, under them, that Greek sector was not growing. You see, you look at opportunities for the average Ghanaian in the real sector. Okay, you look at industry, you look at service, you look at agriculture. If agriculture sector is not growing, it means that the average Ghanaian is not finding opportunity. So we are talking about the critical sector to the Ghanaian people. What gives people jobs? And so you have come to launch a flagship program. Which program you are supposed to fund? It's not being funded. I'm telling you, it's not being funded. Whether it's austerity, whether it is some strategy or not, this is what you say is your flagship. It's not being funded. Okay? If you have challenge, say you have challenge. But this thing about polishing this thing and say, oh, whatever mandate is 4 years. We know it's 4 years, but you do your budget every year. So it means that the 2025 fiscal year, you have done nothing for Greek. You have done nothing. And now we are here, farmers who are supposed to be celebrating Farmers' Day says they don't want to celebrate it because there's nothing to celebrate. This should put chill in the spines of the government. I am not inclined to just criticize this government for the sake of it, because I believe that we are in this thing together. Okay, so whether it works, if it doesn't work, we are all in it together. So their success is my success, and I, under any circumstance, would flag where they are doing well. But the point is that the thing is not happening. Okay. It's not happening, so we must say it as it is,
Richard,
and then encourage the government to do more.
Yeah, let's move on.
That's the point.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, but as you advised earlier, if Hamza come in, then it means naturally I'll come in. So
no, I have the right of reply, of course. I have a, Moro.
So I don't have a right of reply.
I'm only replying to you. You started the discussion. Moro. Moro, this is very, very important.
Well, now let's talk about something different. You are done with that. Unbelievable.
You see? He's not Moro, this is very important. So my brother made the assertion that until COVID, they were having a very good run in terms of their economic fortunes. That is clearly not accurate. Go back to 2019 and read the commentary of Christian Laporte, the World Bank or the IMF country representative then. He indicated in clear language that Ghana's economy had shown serious signs of distress even before COVID, driven by reckless borrowing. Remember, these are the people who had to even organize a Kinke party for simply borrowing. Reckless borrowing and corruption became the bane of our economic mess, even before
COVID. But talk about performance.
This was, please, I'll get there. If you go back to the 2016 budget report, all the targets that were projected for 2017 were met, because we knew the kind of investments we had put in that sector. Take cocoa, for instance. We made projections of the number of tons of cocoa we were expecting for 2017. It came almost the same way, about 1 million tons. That season didn't start with your 2017. Go back to the amounts we made available in terms of Ghana's sinking fund. There were enormous resources because of the prudent management of the economy, even in the midst of economic downturn, occasioned by poor pricing mechanisms for many of our international export commodities, including gold and cocoa, before His Excellency President Mahama left office. But we managed successfully, after the Century Conference, and implemented our homegrown policies that led to some notable gains. And so by end of 2016, the fundamentals were promising. You only inherited the positive effects of the investments the John Dramani Mahama administration had made in the agriculture sector when you came into office in the 2017 financial year. Not just even in the agriculture sector alone, the economy as a whole. More, you remember that these were the people in opposition who said that there was absolutely nothing left in the coffers. But in less than 1 year in office, they were able to implement the free senior high school policy. If there was nothing, do you think that they would have had the financial wherewithal and muscle to be able to contain the pressures of that expenditure in the first year? It is because they were emboldened by the kind of resources that we left behind for them. Road sector, road fund alone, we left in excess of 700 to 800 million for payment of contractors. They sat on that money for well over a year and succeeded even in diverting same, and entered into questionable transaction with a particular bank of a name that I want to withhold, that purported to be advancing payments to contractors, and at the back of that were intended or were meant to receive interest for taking lead in advancing those payments to contractors, when in actual sense the money was available. So from the word go, we were dealing with a criminal cabal that was motivated simply with the appetite to line their pockets in government, not necessarily to drive economic growth. And that is why by 2019, the effects were palpable.
Okay.
And you did not need an angel to descend from high heavens to tell you that these were a bunch of people who came into government to empower themselves at the expense of the state.
All right.
Today, the story is different.
Okay.
You have a government that is focused. You have a government that is honest. You have a government that accepts where there are rooms for where there is room for improvement, that indeed we need to do better here. And that is the difference. Okay. Because we have learned even useful lessons in opposition. All right. And we know that you cannot continue to take the good people of this country for granted. And so my brother Richard can begin to live in his own created economic bubble of success.
Okay.
But those who suffer as a result of the domestic debt exchange program will not forget that legacy.
All right, then.
He can continue to create that bubble of economic progress under them.
All right.
But our international partners who have had to let go of a portion of their debts as a result of the, what's the name?
You mean the DDP?
Yes, as a result of the foreign component of the debt exchange program.
All right.
They will not forget. Remember that we are dealing with a cabal that succeeded in locking us out of the international capital market because of their poor economic record.
All right.
So that is known.
Okay.
When the NDC was in charge, did you ever hear that we are unable to pay our foreign debts? Did you ever hear that we are locked out of the capital markets? Did you ever hear international rating agencies declaring this country as a junk status? This is the record you left behind.
All right.
And so if we are cleaning the mess, you simply do not expect us to clean that mess in a matter of 4, 5, or 9 months.
There was no mess you are cleaning up.
You see, and President Mahama was even being charitable when he declared, upon assumption of office, that he had met an economic crime scene. It is even more worse. These guys were simply in government to pursue their individual agenda of enriching themselves. Moro, are you not surprised about the discoveries we are making from National Service Secretariat to the National Buffer Stock Company and to the Signals Bureau?
Okay. So speaking of
that should tell you the kind of governance we were subjected to in the last 8 years. And so, Richard, I think that you would be doing the good people of this country well if you tone down a bit and give us the opportunity to clear your mess. Please.
For 8 years. You don't get tired?
No, but Moro, the record might be set.
No, it's about Moro. It's about Moro.
No.
Anyway, let's move on.
Moro,
so today's Daily Guy.
No, just a small one.
If you do this,
okay,
we can't have a show.
I'll use my
Daily
time.
Guy. No. Today's Daily Guy is reporting on its page 3. It's giving us an update on this buffer stock matter. In fact, it's come up several times in your submissions. I mean, both of you. So there's an update on the former Chief Executive Officer of the National Food and Buffer Stock Company Limited, NAFCO, Hanan Abdul Wahab Aludeba, and his wife, Faiza Said Wuni, were told that they have been charged by the Attorney General for allegedly stealing and causing financial loss to the state, totaling 78 million cedis. Now, charged along them is Richard Samasanti, who is set to be on the run, as well as the Ludiba Foundation and Energy Partners Limited, 2 companies related to the couple. Now, the accused persons are facing charges of stealing, fraudulently causing financial loss to the state, abetment of stealing, money laundering, defrauding by false pretenses, intentional dissipation of public funds, and using public office for profits dishonestly, receiving and intentionally causing financial loss to the state. According to the charge sheet, Mr. Abdul Wahab allegedly stole 50.897 million cedis from NAFCO by transferring it to James Teku Apau, operating under the name Sultina Enterprise between February 2017 and February 2025. His wife, Faiza Seidu Wuni, allegedly laundered a total of 34 million cedis, owing and knowing at the time of taking the money that it was acquired through a criminal enterprise. Now, she's also accused of dishonestly receiving 4,401,831 from NAFCO between 2018 and 2023, knowing very well that the money was appropriated through stealing. Now, Richard Samsanti, on the other hand, has been charged for conspiring to steal 5,495,748 cedis from NAFCO between February 2017 and February 2019. Now, court documents indicate that the Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO, received tip-offs that Abdul Wahab has over 8 years that he was the CEO of NAFCO, embezzled hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis from NAFCO, and used the embezzled monies to acquire vast estate and businesses across the country and elsewhere. The brief facts indicate that YOCO's preliminary investigation revealed that almost 78 million cedis had moved from the bank accounts of NAFCO to Sultina, and that these funds were transferred in a series of 86 transactions between October 2019 and September 2023. It further indicates that the transfers were made from NAFCO into Sultina's bank account with the Republic Bank, Laboni branch, where Abdul Wahab maintained several bank accounts with the same bank relationship officer managing all his accounts. The Attorney General says the relationship officer will testify for the prosecution in the course of the trial. Now, subsequent investigations revealed that somewhere 2018, James Teku Apau, the then regional manager at NAFCO, approached Abdul Wahab and informed him of a desire to buy and supply foodstuffs to NAFCO, and he agreed. Now, Abdul Wahab allegedly had James Teku Apau's business, Sultina, quickly approved as a licensing buyer and licensed buying company. That's what I should be saying, and immediately started trading with NAFCO. Now, under interrogation, Teku Apau allegedly admitted receiving a total of 69 million, over 69 million cedis from NAFCO into Sultina's bank account. Court documents point out. He's ever explaining that only about 20% of the amount was for genuine supplies he made to NAFCO, while YOCO's investigations reveal the remaining 80% of the bank transfers was for no supplies. Unbelievable. All right, so we'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
So that is it. Uti Zamana Richard Ahiagbah Nina the Tofa Bomb Enise Ochiremua MPP Amanyupo no Brana Omo Efri Abenduamono Anase 2014-2015 sorry Mfanchemi 2025-2024 Omo etimidi nhihye egu akwan mu 2023-2024 getting to 2025 Omo MPP for no etna see said in fact Ghana den ekoninim enti no mudi nhihye bi egu akwan mu ema eniema bitise economy inflation na omunim se NDC fopo ena ban sisa ena ombeji akudwa na automatically no inflation beba form dollar beba form bibia beba form, which means the economy will be what stable. Where ensema Richard Ahiagbah can know. A man like Richard Ahiagbah and a waiting your friend send their some and I said there's some answer a TV so catch Ghana for so no on an MPP for no or more free no money economy be ye. Look at this. But can MPP communicators in be brewe or your MPP communications director with Richard Ahiagbah. Better than MPP and spending more years in the position because on one gas or to honor Onimdi Okika. Go and check 2024 inflation rates and compare to now. Nebisa who say ye then in a bedrusha brewe. Even 2025 Yana Mobe hand over a diamond NDC for you before January 17th. Go and check the economy status. Go and check the inflation rate. Go and check about the economy. Go and check. And then this guy sitting on television lying. This guy sitting on television lying. And yemi de NDC, amman kwan na okantano with the facts. And these are the people they don't want to hear the facts. These are the people always they want to be what? They want to lie. If you give them small chance, Richard Ahiagbah has been, he has been showing, me share several times and he says, we didn't draw. And Kaigwenia said, and Kaudi can this and Kawukran, I'll be so montini, Wukwan, I'll be kitomo flag, but in there, what can people for him? And I said, when you be a mawasewa, young sign Kobono chrono. And I walk to Jandam, and I walk to Sebi, a boy eba in chance in the soul. And it is sad seeing Richard Ahiagbah at his age. At this age, at his age, lying, sitting on television, blatant lies. I didn't have an MP before free, no money necessity, the economy in Beijing. Damn it. What lies? What kind of fallacies is that? What kind of fallacies are that? I don't even know how to even make kind of crowd. So these are the people, they don't know anything. But the only thing they have learned and is obedient throw. They will always they will always bring jam down in the system. And they hear me they say NDC formatting or motor system it should come because and trono ya dos was sister anymore and you experiencing some of the kind now. Udi yabotere, ye papa a ye udi yabotere be the baby somo. You see, Sebi, Ayana me dream woman tiasi. Ghana for year to aban ye nim Sebi Nansa nim di. And you know the reasons why we gave NDC that what we know the reason why your mom was a massive win. And we know the reason why MPP for yet two almost shock on the aquatin fino. And to Ghana for we are waiting. You are John Mahama. Namu Isifa. It is Semno and I Akutiabana. Poor Yandoh is and here are not your as 15 years in jail. That one day it is assured. We had the corner. And you'll be in the country. Assembly of court, a make judgment is answer contempt honor. But me my dream to the mono. You say chamber wound to me. And with the only jail crime moon said or only few crime a much until we now such a wide conversation Hanum still be number one authentic platform getting in a coupon and could be beyond my crowd. Bye bye.